stand in the doorway, and I'm like, that's not a good thing. Probably okay now.
Glad you're using that gavel.
That worked.
Yeah.
Thank you. Boy, what a crowd this morning. If everyone could join me in the pledge, please, first. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, thanks, everyone, for showing up. I'm Jeff Benton, President of the Commission this year. To my right is Barb Lewis, Vice President of the Commission. What? I'm sorry, Barb Lewis is not Vice President of the Commission.
Thank you.
Gary Merrill is Vice President this year. We just changed everything around. And to my right is fellow
We
Commissioner
couldn't
Barb
vote
Lewis.
them out.
And we have our County Administrator, Farzan Ahmed, and Jen Walraven is our clerk today. And with that, we will get started.
Resolution number 17-72, in the matter of approving the electronic record proceedings from regular meeting held January 26, 2017.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Vote?
Vote on motion 17-72. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We do not have actually public comment or elected official comment today, but we do have Sheriff Martin introducing some new of his law enforcement sergeants today.
Great.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity for what I think is a special event, an opportunity to recognize really the people that you support in our office to help us be, I think, the best sheriff's office in the state of Ohio. Obviously, the sheriff travels with a posse. That's what it should be, but no, we've got two new sergeants that I'd like to recognize. And if I could have Ron step up here beside me and Dan step up here beside me. They're familiar faces throughout the county, but I'd like to share a little bit about both of them, and then we'll retreat to the other side for a reception and spend some time with the important people in life also. As I've told this board before and in several public sessions, if we are successful as an office, it's because we hire and promote the right people. And since my appointment and subsequent election, we've put into place a very thorough vetting process, not only for hiring, but for promotions too. And today I'm pleased to present to you two men who really did well in that process and separated themselves, and as a result of that, they have earned the opportunity to be sergeants in the Delaware County Sheriff's Office. Ron has been with the office for quite a while and well known throughout the community. Born and raised in Columbus, he's a graduate of Westerville North High School. He's attended Columbus State and University of Phoenix. He's a graduate, obviously, from Opata. He's an 18-year veteran of the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, so he's earned his stripes simply by the time he's been here. He's got a vast security on the road, time on the road, and one of the things I want to talk about with both of them is they are former school resource officers. And what we're finding is that track really prepares leadership because they have to be able to work in a community, problem solve, handle the diversity and the problems that they see in a school, and that really prepares our deputies for leadership positions. He's a leader and a mentor. He's respected among his peers. He's been hardworking, and I've found him to be incredibly trustworthy. He voluntarily walked away from a position with the school resource officers to put himself back into patrol to kind of re-energize his career. And whenever I visit in the Olentangy School District, I'm reminded how much they miss the presence of Ron Vogel. So I'm pleased to present to you today, for promotion, Sergeant Ron Vogel. On my left is Dan Yarnell. Dan also is a lifelong resident of Delaware County and a graduate of Olentangy High School. He is a 4-year veteran of our United States Marine Corps, where they taught him leadership, and obviously, if you take one quick glance at him, you realize he's squared away. Once a Marine, always a Marine. It's not his first time being a sergeant. He was a sergeant in the Marines, so he comes to us with some leadership experience. He received his OPATA certification in our own backyard here at the Delaware Area Career Center, and he started thinking about a law enforcement career as a child while watching Chips and Smokey and the Bandit. So, Burt Reynolds doesn't stand a chance. He comes through this county. Dan's going into his 9th year with the Delaware County Sheriff's Office. He's got significant experience on the road. Asked to be assigned as a school resource officer most recently in the Career Center because he knew it would stretch him in his leadership. And he's also been a member of our tactical unit. Active in the community. He's been active with Boy Scouts and coaching. Both these men are dedicated to their families. They're men of character and integrity, and I'm pleased to present before this board our most recent sergeants, Ron Vogel and Dan Yarnell. And I'll give them just a moment to share something that they might want to. So, Ron?
Thank you very much, Sheriff. What an opportunity I have here, and I feel so privileged to be able to work with the fine men and women of the Delaware County Sheriff's Office. I love Delaware County. I love working with the community, problem solving with the community to continue to make Delaware County the best county in the state of Ohio. I really do believe that, from our schools to the services that we provide. So looking forward to that. And also I just want to thank my fiance, Marilee Luca, and all my children, Matt, TJ, Walter, Lydia, Nick Vogel, Lauren Grishow, who are at OU right now. I couldn't be here without them. It takes a supportive family to get me where I'm at today. So looking forward to the position and just working for the common good and making Delaware County the best it can be. So thank you very much.
Sheriff, thank you. Ron, pleased to be here, honored to be here, absolutely enthused, ready to get this thing going. It's an honor to work with people of Delaware County and the community. Growing up here, kind of feel that home tie. I got to look out for my people here. So definitely an honor to be able to serve in this capacity and continue to grow. Ron pretty much summed a lot of the stuff up. As well as let him talk first because he pretty much takes care of everything that needs said. So, again, I also want to thank my family for coming and being supportive throughout the process. My wife Tracy, my son Caleb, my daughter Kaylee is here. My younger brother Matt is here. My mom and my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law and my nephews. So, but yeah, I got a very supportive family, and that's what it's all about. And these are part of the community that we're charged to take care of, and we'll look out for everybody. So, thank you.
Also, my son Chris Vogel back there, and Susan. Thank you, Mom, for being there for me, and I love you very much. Love all you guys. Thank you.
Wouldn't want to forget your son.
When you travel with a large posse, it's easy to forget a couple of the members. So, listen, I want to thank you very much for allowing us some time on your calendar, and we'll retreat to the other side for reception, but have a great week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I want to be sure on behalf of all three of us, I'm sure, congratulate you. Sheriff Martin hires the best and he promotes the best. So clearly he's recognized that in you, and we have a great sheriff's department, and you guys are the ones that make it that way and make Delaware County a great place to be. So thanks for all you do, and then congratulations on the promotion.
Thank you.
Enjoy the reception. Hopefully there'll be some cake left later.
We could have said they could stay. I mean,
Yeah, you could stay.
they could stay.
Very exciting.
Happens, everybody. Yeah, no one. Oh, you got another group. Oh, you're right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh.
All right.
Next, we have the ODOT Department of Transportation is going to show us their project update.
Commissioners.
Good morning.
Benton, Commissioner Merrill, and Commissioner Lewis. My name is Jack Marchbank. It's my great pleasure to once again and privilege to serve as a steward of the transportation system here in District 6, Delaware County, a critical part of that. We understand and accept the responsibility to take care of the U.S. routes, state routes, and the interstate, which are so vital to the quality of life, mobility, and economic development here in Delaware County. We have tremendous assets, but we have tremendous needs. So part of what we have to do as a team at District 6 is work with our local partners, such as the Delaware County Commissioners, to make sure that we are creative and agile in responding to our very significant transportation needs. I think what we have been doing thus far with the US 3637 I-71 project epitomizes creativity and agility. I have with me this morning Tom Slack, our Planning and Engineering Chief, Mr. Slack, and our presenter this morning will be Steve Fellinger, our Project Engineer. Steve?
Thank you, Jack, Commissioners. Here this morning to give an update on the project, 71 and 36. So most recently, we've held 2 public meetings from April and October, at which point we provided the recommended preferred alternative. These were both well-attended public meetings, and the recommended alternative, we believe, is the regional solution as a combined southern interchange. Personally, I've been working on this project since 2007. We've performed a series of feasibility studies to reach this point. Just last week, we were awarded Tier 2 status and $5 million from our TRAC, which is the Transportation Review and Advisory Council. This shows commitment to the project, and that money allows ODOT to purchase property. It's not intended for reimbursement of donated right-of-way. Shows our phasing map, which I've provided a copy a little larger for reviewing. These dates are based on estimated dates based on funding availability, obviously. The Phase A, shown in light blue, is the interchange itself. You see on this picture here. It's Park Cloverleaf. It'll be similar to Polaris Gemini in that it'll be barrier separated northbound, allowing exits to both locations. The connection to the west over to Africa Road will be realigned at a signalized intersection. 3Bs and K to the south will also be realigned also to a signalized intersection that eventually will connect to the north to Four Winds, which is also signalized at the 3637. This proposed roadway is being called Sunbury Parkway. It'll be the primary route, which means in order to use the existing interchange, eastbound traffic from Delaware would need to make a left-hand turn at either of the proposed intersections to utilize the existing interchange. You'll note that the southbound direction, the existing interchange has the only southbound exit ramp. There's no proposed southbound exit to the proposed interchange. The final 3 phases are widening of future existing roads. I apologize, it's difficult to see the phasing there in the bottom corner. Some of the current steps that we're working on, we're trying to finalize the environmental document. Detailed design has started, which will include Phase A and then 50% of the remaining phases. Funding plan, we're federally required, each construction phase is federally required to have fully encumbered funds in order to advance to advertising and requesting for bids. And those funds can come from a variety of sources. Also working on a couple of other nearby projects. A little bit more detail, our funding plan. Total of all of our phases is about $163 million. As I mentioned earlier, the track has provided $5 million. But the next bullet points I want to focus more on Phase A specifically. Village of Sunbury is represented here today. Is committing $100,000, and they're also seeking additional grants. The traffic impact improvements from the Outlet Mall, $10 million of the $16.5 million it would go towards Phase A. Northgate Development is committing more than $33 million, almost $26 million of which would go towards Phase A construction and design. And then the Northgate NCA and New Community Authority, almost $8 million would go towards Phase A construction as well. Some of our next steps that we're working on, we've got a public hearing for the environmental process that will occur this spring. We're expecting environmental clearance in July. The next cycle of the track process would also begin in July, which we'll be submitting another application for construction funding and Tier 1 status. Continued work on detailed design of the preferred alternative, and then construction of Phase A would begin in 2018, likely a 2-season project ending in 2020. Just shows the picture of the phasing map. That's all I have for today. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer what I can.
Construction A, what does that consist of, the first stage?
Phase A, it's difficult to see on this picture. It's the light blue. It's the interchange itself and then the connection to the existing interchange. So it'd be the ramps. This ramp to the north on the east, and then the loop ramp as well, and then the connection up. So this is 3637. This is 71, 3Bs and K, Wilson Road. So take the connection over to Wilson Road.
Is that an additional lane on 71, Steve? From the new interchange to the existing?
Correct. Yeah, barrier separated, just similar to Polaris Gemini. So when the Outlet Mall did the widening to the 2-lane exit ramp this last year, we had this in mind at that time, so that it would be minimal construction effort for the widening. Minimal construction effort for the widening and adding for the barrier.
In the Sunbury Parkway, the blue lines of Phase A at this point would just dead end, correct? Because the Wilson Road wouldn't be extended all the way down to Sunbury.
Wilson Road is not currently extended down to where the proposed roadway would be. That would be done as development, but then the interchange would connect over to Wilson Road.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have connectivity in the short term to 3Bs and K until Phase B would occur in yellow.
Yeah.
But the westbound to southbound movement would be in place in the first phase. Yes, so as part of the committed network, it's difficult, again, to see it as an orange, but it would connect from Wilson over towards Kittner Parkway. Would be built by developers as a 2-lane road and then widened in future phases.
Now, the funding from Northgate, how solid is that? You said that they made a commitment. Is that money, to what degree is that money committed or available?
It's committed, and as I mentioned, in order for us to even advertise for bids, we have to have monies encumbered.
And you feel that money's there?
I don't know if that's for me to answer necessarily.
If I may. Yeah, go ahead. Regarding the funding plan, we're at the point right now with, especially with Phase A being approximately a year to 2 years out, to where the funding commitments are outlined to where we're comfortable moving forward, much like getting pre-approved for a mortgage. We are at the point, however, as we get closer and detailed plans are made and we want to put the project out on the street to advertise for bids, those commitments will need to be turned into liquid assets of some form, whether it's a letter of credit, bonds issued, money, again, available to us that we can encumber and turn in, and that has to be done prior to advertising. We don't do that. The state of Ohio, with federal funds involved, does not do that on a cash flow basis. We know those monies up front when we go to advertise. And again, that's based on the most optimistic projections that we're working here. Our aggressive schedule will be sometime in 2018, probably mid-2018.
Well, the commitment's going to be there fairly quickly.
Yes. I mean, that's, from a financial standpoint, there's definitely some urgency there, and that's something we're working forward with.
So you would go ahead with the interchange construction without the additional funding?
No.
Okay.
No, we would have to have that funding would need to be available in order to advertise for that first component of the interchange. And then the subsequent phases, we would still have to have some form of commitment in place, whether it's, again, through agreements or at least at that funding plan type of level of assurance.
Okay. Chris Bauserman, question?
I think you just answered my question. I was wondering what level of commitment was needed on the other phases.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was asking. Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Correct. As we move forward on the subsequent phases, we'd be looking at that funding plan level of commitment, but the actual cash in hand or the actual funds available to encumber would be as each phase is put out to construction bid.
Okay. So what is, and maybe I'm missing it, but what is the construction cost estimate for the Phase A, the blue?
Just Phase A is about $54 million, but it includes 50% of the design for Phases B through F.
Okay.
So to summarize, to do the first phase, there'd be $50 million committed.
Correct.
I think also, I may have misunderstood, it's the reason I'm asking for clarification. You said something about south entrance to get on the highway going south. It would be at the 3637, not at the new interchange. Did I misunderstand that? Or?
Correct. So southbound 71, the only exit would be this existing exit. There's no exit at this location because of the configuration and type of this interchange.
And that's the way Gemini Polaris is, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But you'll be able to enter on the new interchange going south.
Correct. So from the west, eastbound, you'll be able to enter this direction, and then from the east, westbound, this direction through the loop ramp.
If the plans go forward as you've laid them out, and construction or advertisement for the construction starts in the summer of 18, am I clear on the timeline?
Yes. Yeah.
For Phase A, the blue phase.
Correct. We're looking for construction to take place sometime in calendar 18, I guess. So difficult, how to answer the question is how long that process takes in order to advertise for construction. Our projects are sometimes 18 weeks long to advertise.
Okay. Well, how long, then the follow-on question is, once the advertisement started, how long before the construction is finished?
2 seasons on this first phase. I think the last phase, I don't have it here. You've got it on the bottom of your sheet. Maybe you'll see it a little bit better. Like 2034, 35, I think was the 35.
Okay. So the new interchange only could be in by the fall of 19?
2 seasons, so likely probably 1920 probably.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, the 2-lane road east of Wilson would likely be built at the same time. We're requiring that to be built within at least 1 year of the interchange to provide the connection to the east.
On the far right, 3637, we're kind of a Y down there, if you could use your pointer. Yeah. Where does the road start along? There's something to the right of that?
Correct.
What is that? Where does it begin?
This is Kittner Parkway with Showa, 3637 Domigan Road.
Okay.
3637 would tee into Sunbury Parkway. So if you're westbound from Sunbury, you would come up, you'd have to make a right turn to get to the existing interchange. This, on the east side as well as on the west side, the connection at Africa Road, we're looking for Sunbury Parkway to be the primary route. It all goes back to the distribution of traffic, trying to distribute all the traffic that we're seeing at the existing interchange to the proposed interchange. And I don't mean all, I mean we're trying to get roughly a 50-50 distribution in traffic.
Where would someone get on then, on route? You're going north on 3637. I guess I'm trying to figure out, like...
So Sunbury would be off the page. You'd be westbound. You can make the right turn to go onto existing 3637 to go northbound on 71.
Okay.
Or continue straight through on Sunbury Parkway and use this ramp to go to the north as well. The issue with that, though, since this is barrier separated, you'd have to turn right, go on the ramp up through the CD road, through the existing interchange, and then back on. Just like a Polaris.
Okay.
And as well, this roadway is about 4,000 feet south of the existing interchange. The reason for that is it's as far north as we can get it without affecting the outlet mall parcel.
Okay.
Other questions for Zahn?
Steve or Tom, could you explain the difference between Tier 1 and Tier 2, specifically in terms of how far you can take a project when it's in Tier 1 and why in Tier 2, and why do you need Tier 1?
So the TRAC is a statewide council that approves and recommends projects on a statewide basis for all 12 of our districts. We represent, as Mr. Marchbanks alluded to, 8 of our central Ohio counties. So this is a very competitive program, and what is done is Tier 1 status is projects that have a construction funding commitment. Generally, the environmental is complete. They are, in some shape or form, ready for construction within the next couple of years. Now, in our timelines, we're in that standpoint also. However, we're still finishing up the environmental process. So TRAC Tier 1 status was requested. However, we were granted the best status, Tier 2, which provides money for design and right-of-way for the property or utility acquisitions as needed. But it also shows that the TRAC views this as a viable project, a good project on the statewide basis, and is supportive of that project and what was presented. So, as Steve mentioned on the earlier slide, we will be looking to go towards TRAC Tier 1 status in the coming annual round. These fundings are done annually, and that environmental clearance should be done by that point as well, so we can proceed with a Tier 1 status, potentially looking for other funding, but more importantly, being poised to move forward on construction in calendar 2018 with that project.
Excuse me, Tom, in the funding plan, you have also listed the traffic improvement from the outlet mall for $10 million. When will you be seeking that amount from the outlet mall?
We've had some discussions with the representatives. We have an agreement with the outlet mall also in conjunction with the county. We've been discussing the schedule up front with them. This would be roughly the same time we find out if we can get TRAC Tier 1 status, if we can move forward with some funding there, then we would be comfortable approaching the outlet mall to say, here's how we'd like to apply the funds to the benefit of, again, the region, and also take care of both their traffic impacts as well as the traffic for the region.
Very, very important topic, very interesting topic. Mr. Bauserman?
This is a bit of a nuance for this discussion, but I'll still ask it because I think it's important. At some point when all of this is completed, will the state and federal route shift down to the new location, and will what's currently 3637 become a county road?
I'll respond to that first. I Delaware County engineer. There are no plans to redesignate.
You do?
No plans.
No plans, okay.
That's what you wanted to hear, wasn't it?
I was hoping that. I think it's important for us to know.
I agree. Yeah. Even though it's way out, it's still a big issue.
Right.
I assume even with the Tier 1, let's say the funding is there for that, you still got to be pretty sure that funding for Tier 2 is there. You don't really want to start the project unless you know the funding's there for the whole project. Is that an accurate statement?
Correct. We don't want to be in a position where we're going to build and come to a sudden stop. We want to see that our next phase is fundable as we keep moving forward. And it's difficult with these type of timelines to see in any crystal ball more than a couple years out, but certainly we're used to 7071, 270, and 315 on the north side of Columbus, working with some of these long-term phased projects. And it is a matter of making sure we're taking each step from A to B to C along the way as well.
Other questions? All right, I want to thank all of you for coming and updating us on this very important topic to interest of everyone in Delaware County. And again, appreciate the update, and please feel free to come back regularly and keep us updated as things move along. As like I said, this is probably the #1 transportation project in a county with a lot of transportation projects. So,
I do have one other question, if I may.
Sure.
What would you consider the next critical date?
Environmental document.
Yeah, environmental, which is what we're working on now.
That date would,
We're hoping by July of this year.
okay.
okay. Yeah.
And President Ben, we'll be happy to come back whenever you need us to, particularly at a critical milestone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you again for keeping us updated. Very important. All right. We can move on.
Resolution number 17-73, in the matter of approving purchase orders and announced certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM APR 0127 and memo transfers in batch number MTR 0127.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-73, Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Resolution number 17-74, in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-74, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Resolution number 17-75, in the matter of a new liquor license request from Kroger, 898, and forwarding to the Ohio Division of Liquor Control with no objections and no requests for a hearing.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-75, Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Resolution number 17-76, in the matter of a transfer liquor license request from ERA Renovation LLC to Key Group LLC, both doing business as ERA Market and forwarding to the Ohio Division of Liquor Control with no objections and no requests for hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-76, Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Resolution number 17-77, in the matter of a transfer liquor license request from Hironarda Grill Incorporated to Powell Columbus LLC, and forwarding to the Ohio Division of Liquor Control with no objections and no requests for a hearing.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-77, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Resolution number 17-78, in the matter of accepting road improvements and releasing securities.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning. The work guaranteed by this surety for turn lane has been completed according to our requirements, and we're recommending release of the surety.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-78, Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Resolution number 17-79, in the matter of approving a drainage easement vacation for Highland Lakes East, Section 3, Part 1.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
A portion of the home at this address in Highland Lakes was built in the platted drainage easement, and they have corrected that problem by expanding the easement, and so a new drainage easement that meets our satisfaction is already recorded and in place, and so we're recommending to you that we vacate the portion of that drainage easement that their house currently encroaches on, and that would should clear up some title issues for their property in the future.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-79, Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Resolution number 17-80, in the matter of amending the manual for issuance of special hauling permits.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
This is something that's come to our attention both from some local anecdotal things, but also related to things going on across the state, where there are frost law restrictions and weight limit restrictions on roadways. Our manual does not exempt public service vehicles, snow and ice control, and those type of activities. And so we're simply changing that in order to comply with, I think, some changes that are being made in these types of manuals all across the state now. So if you have any questions about that, I'll be glad to. But this would keep one of our snow plows or one of our partners' agencies' snow plows from being ticketed during the middle of a snowstorm.
Any comment, Mr. Marchbanks?
Seems logical.
I would hope Jack would be supportive of such a...
All right, vote.
Vote on motion 17-80. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-81, in the matter of authorizing the purchase of equipment for the engineer's office and the trade-in of equipment that is not needed, obsolete, or unfit for public use.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
We plan to make several equipment purchases that we outlined these for you in our budget process, so these are consistent with the appropriations that are in place and the information we provided at that time. We'll be adding 2 new dump trucks, snowplow vehicles to our fleet. Through a separate resolution, we have 2 very old and very well-used trucks that we'll dispose of at some future date by resolution. We're also proposing to purchase a boom arm mower and a mowing deck, and also to trade in a boom mower that we've had since 2003, and a head on that mower that's from 2001. So those are the proposals. The trucks and the mowers are being purchased from the state purchasing contract, so those are precluded from competitive bidding. And then the dump bodies are a separate purchase, and those will be purchased through a national competitive bid, government agency competitive bid program that we're also eligible to use.
Yeah, I noticed you had 3 separate purchasing programs you used to source these vehicles. You just found the best deal for each one.
We shopped around all those and found the best from each. And so we could have, for instance, we could have used the state purchasing contract for the dump bodies, but they're better price on the national contract.
I applaud you for being cautious with the taxpayers' dollars. Questions, comments?
No.
All right, vote.
Vote on motion 17-81. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-82, in the matter of approving right-of-way work permit summary sheet.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. We have a list of utility permit applications that are before you that have been reviewed by our staff and meet all of our standards. I'm recommending approval.
Vote.
Vote on motion 17-82. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Resolution number 17-83, in the matter of accepting the grant award of the Delaware County Foundation.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Chief Sheehan, Delaware County EMS. For me to stand up before you this morning and tell you about this, I would be remiss not to ask Assistant Chief Eric Burgess to come forward, simply because this has been his project he's worked within the county EMS department, as well as other entities. So I'm going to turn the floor over to him at this time.
Morning, Commissioners. Eric Burgess, Assistant Chief Emergency Medical Services. If you'll remember, several months ago, we came before you for approval to submit a grant for a program that we've started with Buckeye Valley Schools as far as training students in some medical first aid, public safety, communication, logistics, different things like that. And this morning, we're here to accept that grant from the Delaware County Foundation. This has been a partnership with Delaware County EMS, Buckeye Valley Schools, as well as Tri-Township Fire Department and the Delaware County Sheriff's Office. We've got plenty of representation here from everyone this morning, principal and superintendent from Buckeye Valley. We have some students in the program here as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Captain Rosenberger from Tri-Township. He's going to fill you in a little bit on some of the training the students have received. This program's really taking off a little faster maybe than we thought it would, but we've also had some interest from Delaware City Schools as well as Big Walnut that we're starting to work on that as well. So, Captain Rosenberger.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm remiss to not thank everybody here behind me for everything they've done, the resource officers, the school, and thank you for the grants. Our continuing effort to work on this training is something that is parallel, that we hope goes across the board, not only throughout the county, but we can make it statewide and maybe national-wide. When we started this program almost a year ago, I was reading an article in a GEMS magazine, which is an emergency medical magazine for the fire and EMS service. I made contact with the individual up in Quebec, Ontario area, Canada, who started this program in 2001. Since 2001, starting this program, over 200 students that graduated from the school that went through the program have went on to be doctors, nurses, physician's assistants, police officers, EMTs, and firefighters. And that's something to say. In today's society, in today's world, and what we're dealing with and the strengths that are against us, it is vital that we take and continue this effort and continue this strength of training our students and our EMS, fire, and police to work together on a way to better us and our safety. Being a firefighter and a captain in the fire service, being an EMT, being a police officer, being an educator, and also being a soldier in the United States Army, I've seen a lot of what public service can and cannot do. And at the end of the day, it comes down to taking care of one another and working together in our communications. And there's no bigger factor that we need to really take care of and understand in today's society than the safety of our children. Because when we go to work on each and every day, your children, your grandchildren, the people sitting to the left and right of me, they are worried and always thinking about the safety of their kids. And if there's something we can continue to do to work in efforts with the school systems, then that's what we're going to do. But again, thank you for the opportunity to speak. We have done, like we said, first aid and CPR, BCOM, which is bleeding control, communications to and from the school, from them inside to us and us into them, radio communications, logistics. What we've hit logistics on right now is mostly just operations and just letting the students know how this is going to operate and what they're going to hear and what they're going to see. And those are big items because there's sometimes shock and awe in that. The next continuing steps we're going to do, I do believe February 24th is our next training agenda. We're going to work on C-spine and C-spine control with anybody that's got cervical or back injuries, that we're not going to make anything any worse than what it already is. Teach them how to do that. So that's coming up, and also just doing spot-on training, so just give them little scenarios on a cue card. And with that, 2 or 3 things that we're looking for. They have a cue card. This is what I want to see you do. They do it, and we have a grade sheet on the back of it. So the more steps we do, it's right now we're in the crawl walk phase and eventually get into the run phase. But again, thank you for the opportunity to speak, and thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Boy, thank you.
I have the school resource officer, Deputy Strauser, would like to briefly introduce his students that he has here with us.
Great.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm Fred Strauser. I'm the school resource officer for Buckeye Valley. I've been there for about 7 years. And about 4 years ago, some of the students came to me and asked me to be the club advisor of the Teen Institute Club, which is a drug-free kind of awareness club dealing with some of the issues that young people face. I put that through my chain of command and received permission to do that, and I've been running the club for the last 4 years. Last year I was approached about this idea for the first responder training for the club. I promoted that to the club, and they all pretty much wanted to get involved with that. So we've been doing that for the last year and a half or so. Today with me I have some of my club members. You guys could stand. In the back is the club president, Lauren Galloway. We have the vice president, Abby Dahl, ready to go. All right, treasurer, Max Gentile, and then Shayla Ellerbach from our club. These guys are the core foundation of this first responder training that we do, and there are others. We have probably 8 to 10 that consistently come to the training, motivated, interested in learning. And we have just decided to expand our membership to other clubs. I would like to get a core of 10 to 20 students every year involved in this, and I think if we expand it, we will. And I'd also like to thank Superintendent Andy Miller and Principal Jim Albanese at the school for their continuing support for this initiative and the help they provide in setting this up together. So, and we thank you all for everything.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, we have Mrs. Marlene Cassini. She's with the Delaware County Foundation, and she would like to say a few words before presenting our grant.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioner Lewis, Commissioner Benton, Commissioner Merrill. I'm Marlene Cassini, President of the Delaware County Foundation, and it is an honor to come out in public and be able to show you what charitable contributions do in our community. And when a small amount of money, this seed grant that we are providing, can ultimately lead to saving lives and a career path, that is an incredible outcome for the $1,000 grant that we are providing. But I want to say also that this doesn't happen unless somebody actually sits down and writes the grant. And sometimes for people, that's like going to the dentist. So thank you to Lieutenant Reese, where are you, for actually putting pen to paper and making that happen. Our grant review committee did talk a bit about what is going on in our schools and how important it is and how this small amount of money will be able to be transformed in multiple ways. So with that, I would like to present you with a grant.
Nobody wants to check. Everybody's shy all the time.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. I've never been surrounded by such
Great.
Tracy.
Thank you. Thanks for Marlene. Really appreciate
Andy?
it.
I'm Jim Albanese. I guess I'm not really prepared to speak, but I'll jump in there. I do want to thank everybody for making this a reality. To be quite honest, it was something that started at a football game in the end zone. I was talking to Troy in the end zone about, he brought up the option in Canada, and I said, well, I think we could make that work here. I think it would be a great thing for us. We actually started out trying to make it incorporated into a class, human biology class that we had offered, and we weren't able to make the transition and the schedules work. So then we went to a club base, and again, I just appreciate the work by everybody to make this a reality and to make our kids safer. And the goal for me would be to promote this to Delaware City schools and also to Big Walnut and make it a lot larger. So again, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
I know the superintendent delegated you to talk. I can't believe you're not going to say something.
Superintendent Miller?
I just repeat the same thing he said. Thank you for the award. It's a great program. I think we're going to continue to grow it. We got the right students involved leading it down there for sure. These are some of our top-notch kids, and so I appreciate Marlene and the foundation, everybody from the county working with us, and like I said, it's going to be fun to see this grow, and it's fun to be on the forefront of something. And plus, I like showing up getting checks. Thank you.
I need to apologize for forgetting to mention Lieutenant Reese. He's probably one of the most important spokes in this wheel for writing that grant for us, so thank you, Lieutenant. We're happy to answer any questions that you have.
How are you going to keep it going with just the 1,000 and then to bring it to other schools? Is there a plan for that?
I don't believe we have a plan for that yet. We're probably going to have to look at some more grant funding to go ahead and make this. I'm hoping that that'll work itself out as time goes on. So.
Okay. Thank you so much, though, for your persistence and hard work initiative. I mean, everybody worked as a team. And
Yeah, quite a diverse group. Students, congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you for your leadership. And I didn't realize there was a career path associated with this program, so that could be very beneficial for a lot of people, a lot more people. Other questions,
I
comments?
just want to say thank you to Delaware Foundation and again to the students. You guys, you've been back there very watchful, very patient with this long meeting this morning.
Yes.
I know you won't be back in class, right?
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Okay.
Vote on motion 17-83, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 17-84, in the matter of accepting sanitary sewer improvements for Liberty Trace, Section 1.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Fromer, sanitary engineer. Boy, today's a tough act to follow. I got to get Jen to move me up on the agenda after we hear all these other presentations. Sewers just aren't that exciting. Liberty Trace is a new subdivision off Liberty Road at Home Road with Pulte Development, and they've completed construction and are ready for acceptance of the infrastructure.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-84, Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Resolution number 17-85, in the matter of certification of delinquent accounts to the county auditor for accounts to be assessed to payable year 2018 taxes.
So moved?
Second?
Discussion.
This is our certification of delinquent amounts to the taxes that we routinely bring quarterly to you. The amount is similar to what we've seen historically in the January assessment roll. So,
Vote.
Vote on motion 17-85, Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Resolution number 17-86, in the matter of approving the sanitary sewer subdividers agreement for Evans Farm, Section 1, Elm Creek Water Reclamation Area.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
this is the third of the first phase projects for Evans Farm. It's the Elm Creek portion of the sewers for Phase 1. And the plans were approved at session last week, and now the subdividers agreement to follow.
Questions? All right, vote.
Vote on motion 17-86, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Resolution number 17-87, in the matter of approving a professional services agreement with Prime AE Group Incorporated for general engineering services for standard drawings, standard notes for sanitary plans, Delaware County Regional Sewer District Specifications Book, and construction drawings and specifications for wastewater pump stations as directed by the county.
So moved?
Second?
Discussion.
We're, one of the things we're going to be doing this year is updating our standard drawings and details and construction material specs. The construction material specifications haven't been updated since 1991, and the drawings haven't been updated since 2004. So we're going to get in there and do that. This is more of a not-to-exceed contract for engineering support to help us develop drawings and AutoCAD and things of that nature. So.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 17-87, Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Resolution number 17-88, in the matter of reappointing members to the Concord Scioto Community Authority Board of Trustees.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jane Laws, Communications Manager. This is to reappoint the two members, the citizen member Robert Grant and our local government representative Farzan Ahmed, to the Concord Scioto Community Authority Board of Trustees. They both have received excellent reviews for their work. So, and we recommend you reappoint.
I'd just like to say for the citizen member, Mr. Grant has been very good about supporting, helping the county where needed, and just for the record, I just want to get that on the record.
Yeah.
Good point.
Thanks, Bob.
Not that you're not Farzan, but we take you for granted as the administrator.
All right, vote.
Vote on motion 17-88, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Thank you.
That brings us to administrator reports.
All right.
I agree with you, Commissioner Merrill. Bob Grant is an outstanding citizen representative on this board. It's a pretty active board, as Director Fromer knows also, and everybody's pretty active on that board. Thank you, Deputy Director Marchbanks, for the update, and hopefully we'll see you back in July when you have the environmental update. And the other thing I had was I wanted to give a shout-out to Big Wagner Schools and Olentangy Schools. Both superintendents were here on Friday with the Delaware Partnership and gave a presentation on what's going on with their schools. And of course, no surprise, they're both doing excellent work with the rest of their teams. And thanks to Bob Lamba and Jenna for putting it together. That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioners, Louis?
All right. Farzan and I and Commissioner Merrill attended the Building Industry Association banquet.
Mike as well.
Oh, Mike, that's right.
And Bob.
And Bob, sorry. Anyway, they had their annual banquet, and Commissioner Merrill was recognized as Citizen of the Year, so we all wanted to be there to support him. It was a big event. So we were very proud of Commissioner Merrill, and I would like to give a shout out to little Riley and his parents from Lewis Center. Riley has been chosen as the Gerber baby.
That's right.
And there was a picture of Riley on the front page of the Dispatch in the upper right corner, and boy, is he a cutie. So anyway, Delaware, once again, Delaware County is number one with Gruber. So thanks to Riley. That's all.
Okay. Commissioner Merrill?
I only have two things, more house cleaning than anything else. Regional legislative briefing is, the CCAO kind of works around the state to do that, and ours is on Friday, March 20th, and we'll be doing it in conjunction with Knox County. And I asked Farzan to identify a location and then coordinate that with CCAO and Knox, of course. But I think CCAO will do the coordination with Knox, but just so everybody's on the same page. And I think it's in the morning on the March 20th at 8 o'clock, I believe.
Do breakfast.
And the other thing is received, I'm not sure we all received, perhaps we all did, Mahoney County Commissioners concerned about the Medicare sales tax issue that we all have talked about, and they're asking for someone from our county to be involved in that. So if there's no objection, I'm happy to do it. And also, I thought that maybe Farzan should be involved as well as we try to determine how we're going to deal with that issue. It affects us less on a percentage basis, but still, it affects us about $1 million. And I think sometimes the state loses sight of that. We're all affected by. We all need to be. It needs to be addressed. So, just wanted.
Yeah, I would encourage someone from the auditor's office, Auditor Keitz's office, to be involved as well, because he's front and center on that issue too.
Right.
So, yeah, good to have you keeping track of that. That's to be determined how that shakes out.
Well, the next few months are critical. It goes away middle of the year, and candidly, the resolution provided by the state, at least what they say they're going to, is I don't find acceptable, and it doesn't make us whole. And but there are ways to do that, and hopefully our legislator will represent as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big issue in the state's budget, which should be released tomorrow. I think the official release date is tomorrow. I'm sure there will be some
very
advance.
soon. Yeah, that's what I wondered.
That's the target
It's
date.
going to be important. Legislators get actively involved in this project, so we all will have to play a role in that at some point.
Yep. I had just a couple other things. Okay, thank you. The LSU Extension Office Luncheon is today. And it's always interesting to hear what Rob Leeds and his group are accomplishing. They're involved in a lot of things, doing a lot of good stuff. Their Children's Ohio Health Center on 23 South is having a reception tomorrow evening, and it's they're a great community, a new community partner, and offering a great facility, and so that it's good to see them open, and again a great addition to our community. Lastly, just one other thing. I got a letter from Professor Jenny Holland in the Political Science Department at Ohio Wesleyan, and she wanted to thank the county for sponsoring interns in 3 areas. I know Dawn did one. I can't remember.
So I had one.
Yes, I had one, and there was one other. I can't remember.
Jenna had.
I'm sorry, Jenna. Yeah, sure, Jenna's had one. And again, they really appreciate it. I think I know our intern that worked with Cy did a great job of doing some really good analysis, and he's still helping us with some other reporting issues. So it's great experience from their standpoint, and it's really helpful to us to get some of this extra work done, these extra project work things done. So, it was very nice to get that letter, and hopefully we'll continue to, use interns as a win-win. They provide a good service to us, and we offer good training and experience for them.
And I just had a discussion, too, with former poli-sci professor, recently retired from Ohio Wesleyan, and she urged us to continue using interns, and we can use them in several...
Oh, lots of different ways.
Yeah, lots of different ways.
For important projects that
So
sometimes are hard to get done with all the daily
Right.
activities that are done. And these kids are these young men and women are very impressive. They're smart,
very
hardworking, and just good,
Yes.
good people. So it's good for us and good for them. That's all I have. We are scheduled, we're going to recess now, or no, we're going to executive session first for a couple topics. I'll let you do that.
Resolution number 17-89, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of purchase of property for public purposes and for pending or imminent litigation.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-89. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye. We are in executive session, and we do have a 1:30 ditch hearing, so...
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you so much.